the Super Soldier Talk podcast, Healing Soul Survivors 501c3, and now the Super Soldier Activation Conference. I have dedicated myself to documenting the untold stories of the secret space program. I have brought awareness of my labs, also known as military abductions, MK Ultra, Monarch, and Montauk programming. Join us for the 2025 Super Soldier Activation Conference in Orlando, Florida, from October 8th to the 12th. Experience 4 days of groundbreaking discussions with over 25 courageous secret space program speakers. Secure your spot now at supersoldiercon.com. Par ardua ad astra. How nice. I hope everybody enjoyed that. The conference is coming up this October 8th to the 12th in Orlando, Florida. So go to supersoldiercon.com. Purchase a ticket. Let everybody know that you support the Super Soldiers by attending this event. And we also have a live stream option. We have a volunteer tab. We have an option for people who want to be sponsors and vendors. So check out the website. Thank you all. Okay, so today we have our guests back here again for round 2 of the Jeepers Creepers. How's everybody doing today? Let's start with Jimmy. Or Nikki. Maybe you can unmute yourself.
I'm doing fine, James.
Great, thank you. Nikki, how you doing?
Doing good.
Very good. All right, and I'm doing great too as well. Thank you, audience members, for being patient. I know we were running a little late. I had to run around for a little bit to get some errands done, and I got to talk to my friend. I've been trying to get a hold of her for 6 weeks, and she finally answered the phone. So anyway, okay. So today, former MIB agent Jimmy Paine will recount his harrowing encounter with the Creeper in 1972, a chilling tale that later inspired the 2001 horror film, and also today we're going to talk about the 2003 film. And I think, Jimmy, there was 5 of them, right? If I'm not mistaken. So only the first 2 were accurate, or MIB filed. So, according to Paine, the entity first breached our reality when the Sage radar tower at the Thomasville Air Force Station, Alabama, opened up a portal in the Bermuda Triangle on December 5th, 1945. That same portal was implicated in the disappearance of Flight 19, a U.S. Navy training flight of 5 Grumman TBF Avenger torpedo bombers over the Triangle. All 14 aviators and 19 that aboard Flight 19 were lost, as well as 13 crew members of the Martin PBM Mariner dispatched from the Naval Air Station, Banana River, to search for them. So, Jimmy, do you think the Creeper brought all those planes down, you think, in the Bermuda Triangle?
It was attacking vessels out in the Bermuda for a number of years, but since the 1970s, after we terminated it, it's no longer doing that. Can you cut your volume up or pull your mic closer?
What do you mean my volume? Do you want me to cut my mic strength up?
Yeah, because you're still a little low.
All right, let's see what I can do.
You're about half of what you should be.
Let me try this. Nope. Does this help? Is this better?
A little bit, but it still needs to come on up.
Audience members, am I kind of low for you? What about you, Nikki? Am I low?
You sound fine for me.
Okay.
But everybody's different, so.
Okay, well, Deb says my volume is low. I changed a bunch of settings on my mic because Jimmy wanted me to. So what I did is I changed every setting so I'm not quite sure what, because there's like 3 or 4 different switches and buttons on here. I have to get the manual out to figure out what I did to go back to where we were previously. But I tell you what, how about this? I can just bring it really close to my mouth. How about that?
Oh, it sounds much better.
Okay. But now you're going to see the mic here, but it's okay. All right.
That's okay.
All right. Okay. The Creeper, a time-traveling creature, is said to have claimed some 600 lives during its rampage. After the initial incursion, it lay dormant in the limestone caverns beneath central Florida until it was reawakened in 1972. The first film features was based on around the abandoned Little St. James Church near Dunnellon and Ocala, Florida. So the second film is also a true story. It was the I'm going to give you a little summary. I know if you haven't seen the movie already, I hope you don't mind. We're going to give you spoil it for you, but anyway. So as we start off, the son of one of the main characters, this farmer Jack Taggart Sr., um, was setting up this scarecrow, right? So there's these three scarecrows, and one of them had the creeper on it. So he gets abducted and taken away. The next scene, we're on this school bus, and it breaks down because the creeper is attacking the tires, right? So then the creeper starts a killing spree. So this movie ends with the elder Taggart using a harpoon gun to pummel the creature into the ground, right? So we'll find out soon, right? Because I got a bunch of screenshots. So I learned my lesson. We're not going to be playing clips from the movie. So I've got screenshots, and we're going to go through it little by little. Okay, so after the ending of the Jeeper Creepers, Derry is dead and Trish is devastated. So and the story begins, and this movie is in 2003. We also have there's a psychic aboard. We're going to learn about her, Mixie Hayes, right? And according to the story, it says that the creeper this attack was over a 23-day period, and so there were like multiple movies supposedly covering this 23. What do you think about that, Jimmy? Is that accurate? Back in 72.
James, it's best let me do the preliminary first rather than you try to lead into it because it may confuse people.
Okay.
Uh, we're still getting messages that your volume is low, so you may
Okay.
have to
Well, let's
get
try. Well,
closer
how
to
about we
the
try the
mic.
different settings? We're gonna try. Here's one.
Well, you need to pull it
Here's a
up. Just
setting.
pull
How
it
about
up
this? Is this
close,
better? Am I
James.
louder now? No.
James,
Yes.
you need
Nikki
to get
says I'm
real
louder. Okay.
close to your mic. Well,
Okay.
we still have people writing in that
Nikki
it's low.
says, audience members, do I sound loud and clear? I think Wendy, James. Okay. Okay.
When you just put your mic face into the mic, it sounded real good.
Well,
But
yeah.
when you pull back
Okay.
about 6 inches, it was low.
Okay. Wendy says I can hear just fine. So shall we continue, or do you want me to keep
Yes,
trying different? Okay. All right.
let's just continue.
So we also have Nikki Jacobs here. She's a psychic medium, ET abductee, contactee, and surrogate mother of many hybrid children. She was also forced to participate in the SSP as a pilot. So she's a target individual, and because of this paranormal experiences, she has your own show, right? Nikki, you set up your own show.
Yes.
You want to
Yep.
tell people about that show?
It's Restore Belief with Nikki. It's the only one on YouTube that with that title. And I talk about a wide range of topics, and the last 6 months has really been about ETs and SSP and what I remember. So it's been a wild ride, to say the least.
All right, thank you. All right, Jimmy, let me
Mhm.
go ahead and pull up the first screenshot. Or unless you have some background information to share first.
James, it would be better for me to lead into the story
That's
because,
exactly what I said.
okay, well, I misunderstood what you were referring to. Um, I think we left off the part one where the creeper has flown out of the window with Derry and has taken Derry. Okay. Um, I want to say for about 2.5 months after Derry was taken from the stockade, there was this creature didn't. I mean, he was still in the county because we were, there were people that were getting attacked, or either people saw it for several weeks afterwards, at different locations. But the men in black, we all got together, and we first had, like I said, we had to recover the bodies from underneath the church in the root cellar, and examine the bodies. But one thing we kept noticing was we kept finding a lot of ship parts down in the basement, like nets, ship lanterns, just stuff that you would see on board a ship. And so we believe that what it was doing, it was flying out to the Bermuda Triangle, and that was the hunting ground for this creature. And when you're on a small vessel, it can land on the vessel. There's no place for you to run. There's really no place to hide on a small vessel. And you can't call for any help because you're in the middle of nowhere. So there's no telling how many vessels that were attacked, how many people disappeared. We don't know the number. But getting back to Area 51, we started the men in black started talking, about the case, and we started to, like I said, analyze what had happened, all of our weaknesses and everything. But for the 2.5 months that we had a period there where we couldn't find the creature. Now, when you are starting to watch Jeepers Creepers 2, you'll see that it'll start off with a little boy, maybe about 12 years old. He's out in a cornfield, and he's putting up a scarecrow. And his other two family members, his brother and his father, are back around the barn. And the younger kid, he walks into the cornfield, and he's adjusting scarecrows. And the younger kid is attacked, and the brother and the father run out into the cornfield, and the creeper flies off with the young boy. Now, what happened is the man that ran out into the field, that gentleman right there, standing next to the post punch, he is a retired MIB. Okay, he's retired, and he's moved off maybe 4 or 5 counties away from Area 51, and he started his life over. And he is it was his son that got abducted. The younger son got abducted, Now, when this happened, I was called to go out to the farm and to talk with him. And when I did, when I was walking through the cornfield, I found a knife that was laying on the ground. Can you move forward a few pictures, James, to that knife?
Okay, I was just trying to space it out evenly, but yes.
Just kind of
Jimmy,
flip.
I've got a question. Can you? Was the setting in near Nellis Air Force Base where this took place?
It was a couple of counties over from Nellis. I think it. I think it was moving back towards California, back towards maybe towards Reno or back uh, towards the California line, Nevada line.
Yeah, you can see it's got like eagle talons.
Well, that's the feet.
Let's see, I just make it bigger. Yeah, does everybody see that? Oh, okay. All right. So the son goes running. Chase. He's running to dad, but he's being chased by the creeper. Gets dragged. Flies off. Okay, so Jimmy, I don't think I got a shot of him grabbing the.
Now, what? Show the man's face right there, just a second.
Okay. Oh, this one right here.
All right. Do you see the way the man looks? He's got that blank stare. That's kind of common amongst MIBs. Um, they a lot of the MIBs will look. They just look straight through you. But that's not an uncommon look. Um, if you look at him, there's a lot of MIBs. They just they just zero out and they get into like a really deep trance. Yeah, go ahead and move forward on.
Okay, but just it was this in the movie. It was this kid here that found the knife, but you're saying it was you, Jimmy, right?
Me and him walked the field together.
Okay,
Now it shows him picking the knife up. That's not what happened. I'm the one. I stepped on the knife. I felt it when I stepped on it in the soft dirt, and I reached down and I picked it up. So I'm the one
okay.
that found the knife, but he was in the field with me when we were walking. The father was inside, sitting in the chair.
We're gonna get to that too, Jimmy. I think it does. It flashes back forward. We'll get to that. Do you want me to skip this scene here where they're all
Well, I mean, you're moving a little quick, James. I don't know
this is
why
well,
you.
this is what the this is how the movie it moves quick like that.
Well,
Okay. Where did this take place? The school bus scene.
well, first of all, those are not normal school kids in the bus. Now, Nellis Air Force Base, uh, there's people that live on the base that have families. You know, if you're enlisted in the service, you can move on the base and bring your family members with you. All right, so those kids that are in the bus, they have one of their parents is in the service, and they had a game over at another Air Force base. I can't remember which Air Force base they were going to, but they were, as I said, they were going to another Air Force base, and they were going to watch a game. I believe it was a football game, if I recall right.
Okay, Jimmy, and you were on this bus, right?
Yes, I was sitting in the back of the bus. Now, I'm sitting close to the exit door, okay? And I'm not, I don't, it shows in the film that I'm doing a lot of talking. That's not correct. I very rarely spoke to anybody. Um, I'm just there. I'm riding along as security, but my age is very close to that of the school kids. So I'm just trying to mix in with them. They don't know who I am. They think that I come over from another school because I'm about a year, maybe a year and a half older than the kids are on that bus. But I can pass for a student. They think I'm a student from another that's transferred in, but I'm not. Now that right there, the truck behind the bus has got the bug on it. That is really an MIB that's in the pickup truck. He's the escort. Now, for 2.5 months, where this creature was hanging around the county, we were concerned that it might attack the school bus. So we're just tagging along for extra security.
Well, did that's right. That the microphone yeah, radio didn't work. That's why the security wasn't that helpful, right? When it got
I'm sorry, what'd you say,
when the
James?
security got taken out, there was no the radio was like blocked, right? They
James, James, James. You're just confusing yourself and other people there.
well that no
There,
Jimmy, but
there,
it's
there,
a question. Did this the radio was it blocked?
James, I don't know where that came up at. You've lost me here. Now, they didn't have cell phones back then. There were CB radios, okay? I think there were pagers back then, but there weren't cell phones back then. Now, on Jeepers Creepers 1, um, it shows them using a cell phone, but that's incorrect. Um, I think they had pagers, but cell phones they did not have because cell phones had not yet come out on the market. So we had CB radios in the vehicles.
Okay, just different scenes. Let's pull this. So how long can they keep this up? All right, so they're just okay.
Now,
Here's
one second. Now, the blonde-headed girl to the left, that's looking straight at you. She is a psychic. Now, I rarely talk to anybody on the bus, but I talk to her and I talk to the driver and to the two coaches. I'm not really talking a whole lot to the children because we don't want the children, well, not the children, the students to know that I'm MIB, and we don't want the students to know that she is, uh, she's one of the MIBs, or should I say, women in black.
okay. So here's what is his name? Scotty in the movie.
Well, yeah, that's the name they gave me was Scotty. So we're just going to stick with Scotty, or we can say Jimmy. It doesn't matter. Now she
Uh
knows who I am. She
yeah.
knows who I am.
What's going on now, Jimmy?
Well, the creeper has thrown uh, sort of like a weapon and has pierced the tire, has blown out one of the tires.
Okay, did you get to see this witness?
Yeah,
And is
yeah,
this accurate? This is what it looked like.
yeah.
Interesting. Do you think it's one of its claws, its talons?
James, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so the tire is flat, right? A little bit more than just flat, right? It's a little beat up. Not there. All right, they're looking for mechanics, but they're out in the middle of nowhere. Right. So how far were you from civilization?
James, all I can tell you is that it was wide open road. It's middle of nowhere.
Okay, so
We're,
now
we're,
the
we're not on the interstate.
okay, so now they're talking about movie one, right? This is the horror from Poho County.
Yeah, they're talking about Florida. The which is incorrect. I mean, it never was a radio. They never listened to the news on the bus. That's something that the screenwriter put into it.
So the body count is now up past 300.
There was around about 300 bodies that were in the underneath the church.
They found the bodies were stitched to each other, right? And then some of the corpses had false teeth made out of wood. Each one missing either external limb or internal organ.
Liver.
A liver, okay. And Jimmy, did you say it was time travels?
James is something that was suspected. We never did find the spacecraft.
Okay. Okay, so now we switch back to the field again. So they're out there. Jimmy, you want to explain what's going on?
I'm walking the field with him, and I want to say the dog was with us. I know that it was me and him, and the ground was kind of soft, and when I stepped on the knife, I felt it, and I picked it up. Now we both go into the house. Now you see how he's staring again. He's in real deep thought.
Right, because he just
He
lost
might
his
be.
son.
He lost his son, and he is just in real deep thought. Now it shows him holding the knife. That's a little bit inaccurate. I was the one holding the knife, and he was looking at it. And we're looking at the handle of the knife. It looks like some type of sacrificial knife with the carvings on it.
Here's another close up. Screaming bodies. Some kind of mouth. Maybe a
Like a
snake mouth.
snake. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So tell us what happens here.
Well, the knife, when I was holding it, it 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 flew out of my hand and it went across the room and it hit that lamp. And somehow uh, the knife, the heat of the light bulb is what attracted it. Other words, if you throw the knife, if it just needs a warm body, and it can, it's like a heat-seeking missile. Other words, if you throw the knife, if there's any type of heat, it's going to center. It's going to hit whatever is warm. Any warm-bodied individual, it would hit.
Did it break the light bulb?
No, it went right by the light bulb. It just, you know, it went into the wall. I mean, it went in like it was almost an inch and a half. It went in real deep to the wood. It just it had a lot of force to it. Now we're looking at the knife. We don't understand why the knife. At first, we didn't understand it, but it was because of the heat.
But didn't you X-ray it too? What was inside with the X-ray?
We took the knife back to Area 51, and I X-rayed it. And when I X-rayed it, the handle was hollow on the inside, and there's about, I want to say, about four transistors, and maybe at least four transistors were in there. So there's electronics embedded inside the uh, the handle. Now the metal, um, it had a cool feel to the knife, just like you take a knife out of a deep freezer. Like you put a you store in some food, and you forget to take your knife off the plate, and you put it in the refrigerator. It had a cool feel to it.
I have a question for Nikki, if you don't mind. Nikki, what are you picking up on this knife? Can you interpret these symbols for us? Are you able to read these symbols? Use your own.
On the knife, I didn't know if you could hear me. I wasn't picking anything up on the knife. I was getting things on the ship.
Oh, okay. You want to share?
Yeah, it's still there. It um I was being shown what kind of ship. I can describe it, but the easiest way to describe it would be uh then I was told, think of the the movie Buckaroo Banzai in the Eighth Dimension, or whatever the heck the name of that TV movie or that movie is. Um, because it had like weird spikes coming out of it. And then I was told and shown Inner Earth, which I don't understand that, because that could mean a slew of things. And then I was told he's it is an interdimensional type of being. So I don't have anything on the knife, but I got something on that ship. I was like, whoa. So that's why I was sitting here writing all kinds of notes. Very strange.
Okay. Well, Jimmy, how about we move on? Let's go to the next
Yeah,
slide. Thank you. All right, so we're
yeah.
back at the bus.
Well, now when the bus uh, was pulled over, um, I got out and got on the top of the bus with a pair of binoculars, and I'm just scanning around doing a 360, because I'm concerned, about the tire being damaged, and I was trying to see if I could see him through a pair of binoculars, which I did not see him. Okay, now he has a tendency to fly off, or either when he attacks, he uses the sun to blind you. In other words, if you look at him coming, he's always going to be coming from the sun, and you can't see him till he's right upon you. But now, getting back to the roof, when I crawled up there with the binoculars, so did the other students. They just climbed up there with me. They saw me, so they thought, well, if he can do it, I can do it, kind of a deal.
Okay, so this is
Now,
not.
no, he doesn't. He doesn't have a phone. It's too early for phones.
There's no signal getting out, and then the girls are off the bus too. And this scene was actually kind of funny, right? And then the teacher said, or the coach says, "That's smoke." Oh wait, that's not smoke I smell, is it? And then they're
See,
like, "Oh,
none of that's in the report, James.
okay, yeah,
Okay.
it was the bus driver, right? She was smoking with the girls."
Well, when you write a report up, stuff like that's not in a report, James.
Yeah,
This is just something that he's trying to make up.
yeah, okay, all right. So they're making fun of this smart kid here, right? Oh, you think you can manage the team, super genius? And somebody says, "You don't know what they call you, don't you, Izzy?" Oh, and this is some DEI stuff, right?
See,
Oh,
it goes back to the DEI stuff.
yeah,
Um, he's writing the writer is writing about stuff that was not in the report.
yeah.
He's just inserting his political ideology onto the screen.
All right. So then there's a bunch of crows in these movies for some reason.
Well, crows are we use crows. Sometimes we can communicate with crows telepathically.
Okay. All right. So they're all trying to bring everybody back into the bus. Okay. Now we switch back to the farm, right? Here's the dog. Let's see what's going on. The machine is whirling. The post puncher 500. And the farmer here is welding something. Jimmy, you want to describe it?
Let 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 me break in here, James. Now, when the knife was analyzed, okay, we know we can use the knife as a weapon. The problem is we have to get the knife up into the air to hit this creature. And like I was saying earlier, when I was in the cellar of the old church, we kept finding a lot of ship uh, stuff that came off of ships, lanterns, nets, stuff like that. So it was going to take something like about 17, 18 months to build a harpoon gun. We're going to build a harpoon gun like you see like on whaling ships, like you see on a whaling ship. Well, we're going to build a harpoon gun, but we can't wait 17, 18 months. We have to have it, real quick. So we're going to take a post hole digger. We're going to remodify it. We're going to take the valve off, put a quick connect valve, and we're going to make a spear, and tie it into the knife, and we're going to use it like a spear gun, like a harpoon gun on a whaling ship. So that's what he's doing right now.
Okay. Then it moved again into the wall.
Well, he just stuck it into the wall. If it wasn't stuck to something, it would fly. That's the only way we can control the knife is to stick it into something.
Okay. Now it's nighttime. They're still stuck out there. There's not many other cars are coming by. And there are people here who say, you could talk about it. It might help a little bit. Um, and so you were looks like you were very talkative in the movie.
Well, see, it goes back. He's got to give he's got to give me character, so he's got to have a conversation. So he's just making up a conversation.
Okay, so now we know they're guiding us and foreshadowing to let us know that she's psychic, right? She's getting these visions,
She is highly psychic.
and now she sees Derry from movie one.
Yeah. She's what she's done, she's tapped into Derry, and Derry is trying to tell her that the creeper's in the corn. He's using the corn where he can, he won't be seen.
And now they give us a close up of the tattoo.
Yeah. The red rose tattoo.
You want to explain the significance?
It's Order of the Red Rose.
Hmm.
Now, Roost Christian, a lot of the presidential models have Order of the Red Rose. It could be that his mother was a member of Order of the Red Rose. It could be that he's just got a tattoo, for his girlfriend being in Order of the Red Rose.
Okay. Let's go on to next.
But again,
And
it could be
Derry.
Trish. He might have had the tattoo because Trish was in Order of the Red Rose, which I believe she probably was.
All right, so now we see the farmer's son from the other side, right? A vision.
Yeah, she's seeing the boy that was taken.
Hmm.
And he is also trying to point out that the creeper is in the corn. He's using the corn to move about.
Uh-oh, what's going on here? The bus again.
The bus has not got a spare tire.
Okay, wow. Let's move on. So we blew another one. Hannah says, nah, how? And I guess they're telling everybody to be quiet. Say, hey, 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 be quiet. All right, Dwayne, you clear the bus. Then the driver says, you want to sit in here and hope somebody doesn't come along. And hope somebody doesn't come along, huh? All right, it's being sarcastic.
Does come along.
Yeah. Now they're gonna try to get some flares, right? You got some flare gun.
Well, most school buses, James, has all that by state
Yeah.
law.
Yeah. Okay, she says, because everything in this thing has saved my sweet ass at least once. All right, so flashback to the psychic girl. And now she's calling Betty Borman. Okay, so
Now,
go ahead.
now, I don't think these were MIBs. I think this was just a couple that came along. They happened upon the bus.
Right. Barnes says, come on, guys, come on, let's go off the road. And Scott, come on. Now they find a second one, right?
Yeah. So, now that's accurate about the naval hoe. And if you look at it, it's got a red rose tattoo on it. You see it? That's Derry's stomach. He's cut the tattoo off
Wow.
of Derry.
Okay, he says, don't tell me that's a belly button, but yeah, that was Derry's belly button. Wow. It's pretty gross. Okay.
See, it's Order of the Red Rose again on the weapon.
All right. Somebody's telling Mixie to stay off the road. Okay.
Now this part is very true. How he disappears. I mean, it came down so quick and grabbed him that the flare just dropped out of the sky. It happens real quick.
Okay. So pay attention to the center of the screen there. So they're saying, "Get everyone, get back on the bus," and then there's something right here, right? And they say, "But there's something going on out here, and I don't like it." And they pan to this area with you, Scotty, there in the center. Coach, where the hell is the coach? Right? So they turn around, they see Charlie's missing, right? Do it, Scotty. So he goes out there. No, I mean that was Betty. No, oh wait, no, Betty's the driver. Okay, so now they it got Betty, right?
It got all of them. It was taken out. It was taken out adults first.
Wow. All right, banging on door. So they locked one of their coaches out. Eventually, they let them in, right? Okay, so somebody says they saw what happened. She flew away. Betty flew away. And then they says, "What's that supposed to mean?" Uh, we don't have
See,
time
it
for.
shows it,
Go ahead.
it shows me interacting with the students. I'm not interacting.
Okay, so we don't have time for this. Go sit
We
down.
no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that he's trying to make the writer's trying to make a movie here. Okay.
Hmm.
Now that part where the creature grabs him, that part is true. I did try to grab him by his legs and pull him in, but he wrestled the creature wrestled him away from me.
And it was also fast too, right?
It was very fast.
Oh wow. Okay, so they got him too. So Scotty's bleeding now, right? Trying to pull the coach down from the creature. Uh, but you said, were you bleeding, Jimmy, or
There-
not?
James, there was a little bit of blood on the jacket, but not on my face. Um, as I said, he was trying to be pulled in, but he got pulled out.
Big wings. Let me let's bring Nikki in. Do you have anything you'd like to add, Nikki?
Seeing that ship, and I'm drawing it. I don't know if you can see this.
Oh wow. So Jimmy, do you think this ship is in Florida?
James, I never saw the ship.
Yeah, inside
Uh,
a.
there,
Okay, well then you say it's a
there was
mountain
just
rocky. Huh. Well, I know Jimmy, you said you wanted to get a spaceship to go back in time, right? So we can.
James. Let's not add any more to the show than what's ahead of us.
Okay, it's
Because
your words.
I know you're trying to help, but let's not
Okay, so
let's
now
not talk
we go back to
too
the
much.
farmer. Says also found no evidence of forced entry over. So what his radio is going off.
Well, what's happening there is that he knows that the school bus is being escorted. All right, he's just listening in, and he's just cause his son was taken from him, he's just listening to everything that's going on with the MIBs because he wants closure. Okay, that's why he had the radio on. Go ahead.
All right, next scene. I just got 2 calls 10 miles apart, both reporting abductions. So that's probably the other car, right, that visited the bus.
Well, he's just listening in on the escort and the other pickup truck.
Female officer, roger that, 036. Officer 3, if you ask me, this is POHO related. Repeat, this is POHO related, POHO County, right?
I believe that was in part of the report that it was POHO related.
Okay,
So
well,
that wasn't blacked out of the report.
let's go on. All right, so we pan back to the bus, and one of the kids say we are stuck in a broken down school bus out on East 9. We've got spears on this bus, question mark. And Jimmy, you said they didn't have spears, right?
James, I don't recall any spears on the bus.
Good. So someone's looking out towards the cattle stockade and
There
said,
was there was a farm. Yes, go ahead.
you see that.
Yeah.
This means that there's a farm down at the end of the road somewhere, and it means that there's a phone. They also said too. All right, so now the creeper is doing its creepy thing over here.
Now that part is very true of him coming up to the window and looking in.
Hmm.
That was in the report. Go ahead.
Wow. Uh, so the girl screams. They get down. Now the creeper is flying around them, up and
He
down.
is James. Back up right there. Now that part is true. Hey, was sideways. He was just going. He was doing some pretty amazing things. Okay. See, you can't really see if he's got an anti-gravitation belt on. Very true how he looked in the window.
Oh wow. Okay, so the other kids are freaking out now. This guy, he was on the floor right below the creeper, right next to the wall where the creeper was. So he's being quiet. The creeper sees something's down there, and now he flies up to the roof of the bus.
You could hear him walking on the roof.
We wouldn't get 2 feet, man. What do you want me to do? They want to go out to the stockade, right, to go see if they can find a phone. And then right when they're trying to
That
do that,
now that part, how he's upside down, looking in. That's very true there.
wow, that must have scared you horribly.
Well, as I said, he could. It's not normal to be upside down like that. He was able to turn sideways and go upside down.
Okay, so it's like sniffing, making sniffing sounds.
It was sniffing, it was licking, it was taking his tongue out.
Hmm.
And now the tongue was more like a snake like tongue. It was split. He was taking his tongue and lip, like you see a snake, how a snake would flicker his tongue. He would flicker the tongue like that and shake it, and then he would lick the glass. And go ahead.
Jimmy, we got a question from the audience.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, someone's asked about the radio. Why didn't they just call the cops?
Because it's a CB radio, James, and they had a limited range to the radios, maybe about 5 mile, 4 or 5 miles.
Okay. Yeah, flashlight.
This is before the cell phones that came into existence. Now the teeth was more yellow.
But they were about that size. This is what it looked like, close to what it looked like.
Well, I recall double rows of teeth, but then again, it's been 5 decades, But the teeth was more yellowish, and he had a real bad smell. Most extraterrestrials have a bad smell to them. You could smell him 40 feet off. You smell like a bunch of rotten fish. You ever had an old deep freezer?
Can
And
verify that.
you had rotten fish in it, it smelled real bad. That's how he smelled.
Yeah, yeah. Some ETs have a very, very pungent and disgusting odor. Others do not, unless you get up about 6 feet from them, and then it's a different story. I've
Well,
been consistently abducted all my life, so yeah, I fully agree with Jimmy on that, wholeheartedly.
the little grays have a high stench to them. And a lot of times when you're talking to someone that says, "Oh well, I've been around, I seen this alien, that alien," they never say, "Well, he stunk." That's one of the telltale signs. Yeah, he had a bad smell. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, so students are scared. The creepers' eyes turn white. Now they're licking the window of the emergency exit.
Yeah. Now his tongue is more of it's not pink. It's the color of the tongue is off. Look more purple or dark purple.
Okay, so
Oh, okay.
wow. Well, so someone is, I guess they have the flares, and they're trying to, that they were gonna shoot it, but then not inside. So otherwise, it would smoke up the place.
In fact, I told him not to shoot the flare. Now that part about the boat being bent, that part is true. Um, he did jar the door so hard that it basically it just you couldn't open the door.
You think that it intentionally did that and knew that that's what was going to happen?
I think he did it. I think he probably learned it. Uh, he didn't want them to all get out, get out in a hurry. He wanted to get in there where they couldn't exit.
Okay, so they hear something on the roof. Then Mixie is going into a seizure. She's
Yeah.
epileptic,
Now
right?
she's epileptic, but she went in the stress. It was just too much stress for her, and she did have a epileptic seizure. I took a pencil and put it in her mouth, and she was biting down on it. Now, this part about, can you go back that picture where she's at the farm, James?
Yeah. Oh, I lost it.
You know,
Oh,
you
oh.
got,
Yeah, let me fix that real quick. Hold on. Yes. Get there. Okay, so
see,
it was.
she's seeing, she's having a vision, and she's seeing everything what happened.
Okay, and then Derry's there, right?
Well, she's reliving the experience is what she's doing.
All right. So next scene. Every 23rd spring for 23 days, it gets to eat, and that's all fiction.
Yeah. Now, see, it's again the writer is on about this eat every 23 days is every 23 years the planets align a certain way. He's just got his facts crossed up there.
Okay, so now Derry's eyes are missing. Do you have any thoughts
Well,
about this?
let, let me say something else. We never found Derry's body. We only found part of the body. So that part about the eyes are missing is inaccurate. We only found part of the torso.
In the movie, they were projecting that the eyes were going inside the creature. It was absorbing the eyes,
But
moving it. Yeah, that's what
James,
I'm telling you what the movie says. You,
I know what the movie is saying.
but our audience does not know that.
No, they probably don't. But if they watch Jeep Creepers 1, I said we found part of the body in Jeep Creepers 1 after Derry was taken. We found part of the body in the old factory, the abandoned factory. What the writer is doing here, the writer's showing that his eyes are out.
Hmm.
Well, and it makes sense that they Hollywoodized
Exactly.
the movie and the information in order to bring more people in, to draw more people in. It's part of
Well,
movie making.
see, it goes back that the power of suggestion is so strong here that after 50 years, it still lingers.
Mhm.
You know, and the thing of it is, Project Blue Book. All right, no movies were made as far as I know of Project Blue Book because it wasn't profitable. But these X Files that me and James are talking about, that's all that we're seeing lately. It's just all these old X Files that I did. So it's very profitable.
And Jimmy, how many movies was based off of you?
James is 75 and counting. I'm finding them. It's just every time I turn around, there's another one jumping up. And if it wasn't for those X Files, Hollywood would probably, there have been a lot more movie studios that have gone bankrupt.
Oh, okay. And that was the other thing too, is that this the Jeeper Creeper made what, $200 million? So
Well, they're still selling merchandise from Jeepers Creepers 1. The coffee mugs, t shirts. And just like I said, they came out with Jeepers Creepers, what, number 4 or 5 now? Now, the only two is Jeepers Creepers 1 and Jeepers Creepers 2 is the only real X File. The other Jeepers Creeper movies are just made up.
Jimmy, what do you think? Maybe it could have been maybe another MIB file that you're not aware of.
No, if it was another MIB file, I would know it. This, like I said, James, it all goes back that he was hunting the Bermuda Triangle, and the Bermuda Triangle is very quiet now. Now, yeah, people still come up missing, but it's people that are in the drug trade, hijacking ships. You know what I mean? It's not like a bunch of planes coming disappearing or ships disappearing. Uh, Bermuda Triangle's been very quiet for the last 50 or so years.
Oh,
Every once in a while, there'd be some drug problems out there, the smuggling of the dope, but nothing like what it was 50 years ago.
okay. So questions from the chat. Nora is asking, was it a Draco reptilian?
It was mixed with something else.
Mhm. Yeah, I fully agree with that because I was getting it's not alone. There are others like it out there.
Well, if one could cause that much trouble, then you look at 10 or 20 of them could be devastating.
Oh, yeah, I can see a population of these things completely wiping out a huge section of this planet. No joke. I literally got told from the other side, quote unquote, others of its kind, not alone.
Well, we have a much more modern harpoon gun. Now, the one that we're going to show later in the show tonight is just a homemade one. It was thrown together. We had to do something real quick, but you first have to know the characteristics of the creature before you can kill it. We know that now.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, next question. Does the
Got ink
creeper
all-
choose what it wants to eat from people?
James, it goes back that this is only just one creature that that we encountered. Um, the bodies that, as far as I know, it was eating the liver. Like there may be certain
Makes
parts
sense.
of a cow that you like to eat, or certain parts of a chicken you like to eat. Well, the liver is what this one was eating.
It
Oh, wow.
makes sense because for certain species, liver would provide all the nutrients.
Well, the adrenochrome, you know,
Yeah, that too.
plus the liver's got like a lot of vitamins in it,
Yep.
B12, stuff like that.
Especially back in the 70s when we didn't have as much toxic stuff put into the products.
Okay, thank you. All right, so flipped. We'll get an update on Nikki's drawing at the end. How about we do that? Okay,
Oh,
so
there's nothing much more to it, but yeah, that's fine.
okay, Linda is saying I cannot say this is upsetting me too much. The ones in South America attacking a village feels related. Weren't there? They find these aliens on like these flying platforms. They were hunting people down.
But they were
James,
different. Those were different.
James, we're getting off into something that I just don't know anything about. We need to stay on this topic here because I can't
Okay,
talk about stuff I don't
all
know.
right. So Maxine, she wakes up from her trance, right? And they're like, "Oh, you just passed out." And then the student here says he was picking people out. It can smell something in people. A dead boy told me, and that
Now,
nothing has been able to kill it.
can I say something? She never talked out like that to the students. Okay. Now, the only person she talked to was me.
Thank you, Jimmy, for that.
I'm just trying to point out that the writer, when I wrote the report, he's taken the report and he's twisting a little bit because he's got to show the students interacting with one another or the show falls apart.
Okay, thank you. Next slide. That by morning it has to go back into the earth, into the ground for 23 more years. And it doesn't matter if we're hiding on this bus or if we're hiding under our beds, it can smell our fear. Okay. Then it says, "This is Andy Buck. We have a serious situation here." So now they pass the car.
Now that part is true. The car had been, it looked like, just like I said, the top being rode back on that. That's kind of pretty accurate about the top being rode up like that. But the car was in much worse shape. You know, it was wrapped around the tree.
Well, so the occupants weren't there, of course.
So it looked like the steel is, the metal roof is just
In a
torn.
show.
Okay, so one of the students says, "Yeah, I'm close to peeing my pants, man." They flash back to the car. So this is the farmer, right? So he's going out because he heard on the radio, right? He heard that there was an incident. So he's going out on his own to find the bus, right? So,
Well, see, you have to remember he's already made the harpoon weapon. Now, what happened was, you remember when the movies first started off, it showed a pickup truck with a bug on the back of it.
yeah.
Well, in that truck there was a radio, and that MIB was talking to this other MIB.
Okay, so now we're
So
going back.
yeah, the guy that had the bug on the truck, he's dead now. Now that part with the creeper in the back window, that's true.
Okay, so they're having a good time, laughing, because it's been an hour, right? It's been an hour since the creatures visit
Well,
him.
James, I can't tell you that. That's 50 years ago. It's been there's been a lapse of time there.
Okay, so they hear something on the roof, and one of the students says, "Help me, get this thing off of me!" Right? So it actually tore right through the bus, Jimmy.
James, only thing I can tell you is that it crashed down on the bus and that it knocked the rivets out. I don't recall a hole being torn in it.
Okay, so we get this character show up. He grunts, and then he.
It landed on the roof and it hit so hard that the rivets came out of the vehicle.
Yeah, I think that's what he was doing. Like he'd fly out into the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
He could fly into a plane and knock the rivets out of the plane, or he could fly into like a small wooden vessel. He could crash through. I mean, he could
Wow.
fly. He
That's
could fly
powerful.
into Yeah, he could fly into like a car going 50 miles an hour. and tow it out.
Oh yeah, that is some severe power, folks. I mean, think about that. I have been an experiencer all my life. I have witnessed some truly mind-bending things, but that kind of power is not it, certain species of ET can do it, but it's few and far between. That's what needs to be addressed here because what is going on, that's huge. That's a huge piece of information right there.
Well, if geese or ducks can bring down a jet, a
Yeah,
747 jet airliner, I mean, why? I
yeah,
mean, just a flock of geese can bring down a 747. So I believe what he was doing, if there was a say a plane in the Bermuda Triangle, he could fly into it and knock a rudder off anything
yeah.
because he hit the back of the door of that bus so hard he jarred it, he knocked the boat out.
That's incredible. That takes an
And then,
incredible amount of strength.
and then if you watch Jeepers Creepers 1, Trish ran over him several times and he still got up.
Yeah, they should have took him
You
out then, Jimmy.
you
Unfortunately.
can you can daze him, but he can get back up. As long as he
Mhm.
gets adrenal, as long as he gets some adrenochrome, he can rebuild his cells.
All right, so the kids kind of huddle around and the bus trying to get away from the holes now, right? Um, so then, so now the creatures, what's happening, Jimmy? Like explain the windows got busted out.
He knocked out all the windows when he hit the top of the bus, James.
So now everybody huddles down to the ground. Okay, you can see the rivets there clearly opened up.
Yeah, that part's pretty accurate. Now now that's when I could see out is when he busted the rivets.
All right, so now we can see one of its claws here. Um, did anybody stick their head out of the bus to see what was going on outside?
James, I just remember looking through the break. Now it goes back that we're watching frame for frame of the movie here now.
Okay, so
Okay,
here we
so
go.
we go.
It's dead, right?
It's dead, right? I think it just knocked him out when he came down real hard.
Okay, so they pick up one of the bolts.
Yeah.
We
In
thought he
fact,
was
I believe I. In fact, I think it was me that picked the boat up and looked at it.
and somebody says we thought he was trying to come in, and so it wasn't that. Yeah, they were trying to keep him trapped. That's the whole goal, right, Jimmy? Let me unmute you. We're getting some feedback for some reason. Can you unmute yourself again? And now here's the other kids. They're all like shocked, right? And then the wing falls out. Okay. And you can see it has. They comment that it looks like a. Uh, did I, Jimmy? Unmute yourself. And then you see, you can have like there's like veins in there, and somebody was commenting that it felt like a shower curtain, right? It was like this really dense leather. Uh, Jimmy, are you there? Okay, Jimmy, you unmute yourself.
Yeah, James, the wing, the wing did come down into the bus, and when I saw it, I felt it, and It was, I took my knife. I had a knife, a boot knife. I always carry a boot knife for concealment. I took my boot knife out and I cut it. And it was just like cutting leather, real thick leather. Even though it was kind of thin, it was extremely hard to cut that uh, in between the ribs of that wing.
You see one of the students are touching it, right? They're lifting it up.
No, well, I handled it. Nobody was touching it. So you have to remember it's a biohazard. I wouldn't let nobody touch it. Now, I did touch it because one, it had to be raised up where the students could walk underneath it to the other side of the bus. They never touched it.
This thing's like a piece of toilet paper.
Well, it was real thin, but it was real hard to cut it.
What's it doing, Minx? And this part is fictional.
That's fictional.
In case you're wondering, they busted up its head. So somebody says, "What the heck is supposed to mean?" We're getting feedback, Jimmy. Can you click on settings and under audio, click take off echo cancellation, or put it on? Yeah, not take it off. There we go. So much better. Oh no, now it's back.
What we're looking for now?
Under settings, click on audio. Make sure you have echo cancellation.
You want it on or off?
It needs to be on.
It's
Yeah.
on.
Okay. All right. Well,
My echo cancellation. It says not recommended while using headphones. I'm
just
using
do it.
headphones.
Okay. He looked
Well, I
right
need
at
to
you and
unclick it.
smiled.
Can you hear me? Am I echoing
Yes.
now?
No. You sound really good. Thank you, Jimmy. Next
Okay,
one.
well, I had it on, but it said not recommended while using
Well,
headphones. I never knew that.
okay. Well, I think the audio may dropped a little bit, but okay.
Let me
I think it's
let me see
doable.
if I can turn it up a little bit.
Or maybe okay, or come closer to my. So a lot of this dialogue is fictional, right? So people are saying, "Oh, he said it was coming. We're gonna have to leave. He's gonna pull up, right?" And they're arguing amongst themselves or whether to get off the bus or stay on the bus. But
Well, there was arguing. There was a little bit of racial tension on the bus, but it wasn't between me and the students. It just seemed to be between the students themselves and the the black students all ran off and left the white students behind. They were the first ones to cut and run.
because there was some racism going on back then.
Well, I felt that it was racially charged. Um, like I said, I spoke very little to the students. Only one that I really talked to was adults, like the driver and the two coaches. I spoke with them. They knew I was MIB, and they also knew that the other girl that was riding along with me, that she was MIB as well.
Okay, let's move on. He said he was coming. We're getting feedback again.
Well, I've already unclicked it, so it's not me.
Okay.
It, what about Nikki? Have you checked her or?
No, I'm pretty sure it's. See, if I mute you, now it sounds fine. Okay. So let's just push forward. He said he was coming. We're gonna leave and pull up. All right, so now you can see all the hole there. And then Rhonda says, "You used me. You used all of us." And then if maybe Jimmy, if you have anything you want to comment, I'll just keep moving on. Right. So you can see the kids are getting off the bus over here, right? Um, and then we have the creeper by the moon. It's a really beautiful shot here, but would not want to see that thing any near me. Jimmy, you have anything to comment about this one? And then we have some. Good.
James, I never saw it uh, with the moon in the background. I mean, I don't recall it.
Okay, thank you. All right, so the kids get off. They say, "Run, run, run." Um, they go off into the field, and now the creeper has its weapon here, right? And they're going after one of the guys. And this was the scene by the tree. You want to comment about this?
Yeah, now that's kind of inaccurate. It shows the knife hitting me uh, in my arm. That's incorrect. Now there was a student that was hit in the hand, and his he was trapped next to the tree, and I ran up to it and I had to pull the knife out of the of his hand, and then I think I'm not sure if I took his belt, but somehow we wrapped his arm like a tourniquet using the belt.
Jimmy, someone says you need to turn down your computer volume. You have it too loud. That's why we're getting feedback. But okay. All right.
I turned it. I turned. Is it lower? Is it better now?
I think so. Oh yeah, better.
Okay. I moved my mic a little.
Here we see Minx here says, "Where did you come from?" Right. So now our farmer guy. Look, you can't stop it. So she's freaking out, but yeah, our farmer guy's back. He found the bus, but now it's like empty except for 3 people. Jimmy, you want to comment about that? Why some people stay behind if they're sitting ducks?
James, I think it was for safety reasons that they all scattered. You can't go after everybody if they're all scattered.
All right.
They were to try to head to the farmhouse, but they scattered. But they were supposed to all go to either the farmhouse or the barn next to the farmhouse. There was a light on a good ways down the road from the bus.
Question from Misty. Did he mention the name of the real town? I might have missed that part. I think it was just say Reno, Nevada.
James, I said it was towards that part of the state. I didn't refer that it was in Reno or outside Reno. I said it was towards the state line, over towards Reno. Reno's kind of close to the state line.
Okay, so I think this is Rhonda, right? Rhonda says, "You let her in, huh, Johnny?" And this is where, oh yeah, so grabs him on his head, right? And this is part true, right, Jimmy?
James, I don't recall that taking place.
Okay, so the creeper's still on the roof, right? Oh wow, so the wings outstretched here, right? Um, okay. Now Minx is back with the farmer, right? And So let's see what happens next, Jimmy.
Now, can you back up just a second? No, the face, the creature's face. Right there. Now, you see that kind of a mean look? That's pretty accurate there. The eyes are a little different. He had split. He had split eyes.
Were they blue?
No, they were split.
You
I
mean
don't
a
recall.
split?
Yeah, like a cat eye. They weren't round.
Okay.
They're reptilian eye pupils.
All right. Officials asking, are the creepers the pilots to these ships?
James, we keep talking about ships. I never saw a ship.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on. All right, so we got the post puncher that's been, what do I say, modified to be a harpoon gun, right? So,
Yes, it's what we're trying to do. See, we got the idea because one, there was all the fishing nets and the lanterns, and all that was underneath the church in the cellar, and we just put two and two together. Hey, this guy's going out and he's raiding ships, so we just figured, well, a harpoon gun. We could put this spear into a harpoon gun. We can get it up there to them.
wow. Okay, so here we go. First shot, right? So the reel is spinning, and they finally got it, right, Jimmy?
Now, I want to say something about this scene here. Uh, the first shot did come loose, okay?
You can see.
Now, it didn't pick the tires off the ground. The it did lift the truck up on the springs, but it never lifted the truck off the ground. So that's not quite accurate.
Wendy's asking about the head getting cut off. Yes. So I didn't take any screenshots of that because that didn't happen. It's yes, when it's supposedly surrounded its wings around one of the boys, cut its head off and replaced its head, but you guys don't need to see all
Well, now get back to the wing part. It did grab one of the students with the wing, but like I said, I took my boot knife and I cut the wing where we could get him free. But it never did cut his. It shows the head being taken off. That's not true.
that. Thank you. Okay. So here's our harpoon truck hitting the school bus, being dragged around. You can see the creature flying back and forth. I think it, like you said, it got loose, so they had to shoot it again a second time, right? And then
He shot it. He shot it the second time, and the second time he got a good grab on it. Till he I think he broke the line and got away.
right, okay, so even the dogs got into the excitement here. Okay, the in the movie the pickup truck is being dragged around, but
What back up one
yeah,
picture. All right, the school bus never turned over. Okay. It did have a hole in the roof, and all the windows were knocked out of it, and the back door was jammed.
Somebody's comment. D says, "I wonder if Richard Bruce can preach on your podcast, demanding tithes, because he's our priest." Uh, I want to comment about that. So the original back then it was Judea. There weren't Jewish people then. It was Judea. And in the times of Judea, the church ran the country. So 10% goes to the church and the country. Today, we're taxed what, 70%, Jimmy Paine, right? And then the church expects us to give them another 10%. So we are fleeced beyond you can imagine. Anyway, thank you. Okay, let's go back to our feature presentation here. Jimmy, so what's going on here? We got the kids. Okay, they say.
Well, first of all, it goes back to DEI stuff. The black students have all ran off. Okay, so the students, for safety reasons, were told to scatter.
Okay.
Now that's one of the MIB's vehicles that we talked about earlier. Now he can't be found. There's a lot of blood in the truck, so he's been attacked.
All right, so the kids are excited.
Well, first of all, I'm the one that got into the truck, and I did have a student with me. One of the female students was frightened, and she never would leave my side. I guess she she just got with me, and I told her to get into the passenger seat. Uh, at that point.
All right, so our truck is taken off here with the bug on it. He says, "I'm sitting duck back, hear Lizzie step on it." And now they're being chased by the creature yet again. And one of the students says, "Go,
Now,
Lizzie, move."
now, I want to say something here. There never was anyone in the back of the truck. It's just me and the student there.
All right. Okay, here comes our creature chasing you down.
That's
Lizzie.
very real how he flew to the ground.
Thank you. Okay. So says, "Get out, what?" And now the truck turns over from the creature, right? I guess it must have hit. It went through the window. Jimmy,
James, let me narrate, okay? Because you're asking questions. And, all right, back up just a scene here or two. Back up just one scene.
Okay.
Or if you could find it. All right. Now, what happened here? The student, I had her looking out the back window as I was driving, and I can't outrun the creeper. So what I told her to do, I told her to get down, not get out, but to get down. And what I was going to do was slam on the brakes and let him hit the back of the truck. Go ahead.
Okay, so now it's
Now,
wings spread out.
all right. First of all, the black boy has ran off. Now, I'm in the field. The truck, when he hit the truck, um, I want to say it turned over on his side, or I ran off into to a ditch there, and I just remember. I want to say that I either got thrown out of the truck, or well, I just remember being on the ground. That's all I remember after that.
Okay, Jim, let's move on. Okay, here's another shot of the wing. Is that about the size it was?
James, it was a good size. I mean, I can't.
Okay. All right,
Now
so
that part where I don't recall that ever burning. I don't think it burned. There was some steam coming up from the radiator, um, but I want to say the headlights were still on, shining in the grass, and I saw his head. I saw his head as he looked, raised up, and his wings have been snapped off.
all right, good. Let's move on. Talk about Dyson goggles. Those are back at Area 51 when they
Well,
lived.
this creature can be seen, James. It's you
Yeah.
know,
Okay, so our student is over here crawling around in the grass.
it's me crawling in the grass.
Oh, cool. That was you, Jimmy.
Well, I've already stated it several times that
Yeah.
the black students have ran off. That I'm the one in the truck. That's one of the reasons I said we didn't have to go through this far into the show, because the show is so messed up. I consider it unsalvageable. Now, he's got one arm and one leg. That's all he has.
Okay.
He's got his wings clipped off.
All right. So he's
Okay,
chasing you.
he's got to have adrenochrome to regrow his wings and his leg. All right. Now, the he's able to jump. He's able, when you see him leaping in the air, he does leap like that with one leg and one arm. Now, this part's interesting. Um, he's still incredibly strong, and I've locked on to him, and I've grabbed him by the throat, and it's everything I can do to keep him from just he is right on me. He's very powerful. Now, what I did here, stop just a minute. What I did here was going back to my boot knife. I can't find my pistol. I have a pistol that is hidden on me. All right, but I can't grab my pistol because it's in the back. It's in my belt, my back belt. It's right on my spine. So what I do, I take my other hand, I go into the top of my boot, I get my knife out, my boot knife, and I stab him in his liver. Now, if you was to cut him open, the largest organ in his body is his liver. It covers 1/3 of his body. The liver is the most largest organ in his body. He has two hearts. He has a heart on the left side of his chest, and he has a heart on the right side of his chest. So you can stab him in one heart, it doesn't bring him down. He's still got another heart that's beating. Go
Hey,
ahead.
Jimmy, question from the chat. Did you ever get injured by the creature?
Scratched up, bruised up. I had a few minor cuts, but from the glass, but nothing serious.
Thank you. Next question. Oh, actually, let's just move on. Let's take, okay.
Well,
Thank you.
I enjoy the questions. I mean, if they've got a question, they need to ask it because when we close this out, that's going to be it on the creeper. Now that part where he opens up his the tentacles open up. That part is very accurate, except for the eyes. He's got cat-like eyes, slits for the eyes. Now,
Okay, what
when
happened
I
here?
when I am struggling with him, the other MIB has pulled up, and he's got with him. He's got his son and the psychic. He shot the harpoon gun, and he's hit him in the head with the harpoon gun. And then I'm exhausted because it took everything I could do just to hold him off of me. And when he shot the harpoon gun, hit the creature in the head, he jumps out, and then he attacks the creature.
Oh, wow. Okay. Let's move on, Jimmy. Um, so I can see you hit it in its head.
He hit it right in the head, just where it's at now.
So this scene, the farmer, he attacks the creature repeatedly.
Yeah. Now, see, he knows it's got two hearts, and and I know it's got two hearts, but we don't want to kill it right off because we're going to get a little payback. We're he's going to take his time and stab it. He's going to torture it a while. See, it tortures humans for adrenochrome. So now we're going to do a little payback. We're going to torture it. So he purposely stabs him, but it's not to kill him. It's just to torture him a good little while. And we take turns. He'll stab it a while, and then when he gets tired, I'll get up and stab it a while. And then when
Yeah,
I hand the the spear back to him, I kick it. I kicked it in the head. I kicked it in the ribs. I kicked it in the groin area. Kicked him in his crotch. I stomped on it.
good.
I'm getting some payback
Thank you,
for
Jimmy.
what he did to Trish and Derry.
Yeah, like 600 others too.
Yeah, yeah. See,
Patty Mint.
we know we hit him in his heart. He's got two hearts. We just don't want to kill him right off.
Patty Mint's asking, how did you know about the two
But
hearts?
because if you autopsy a reptilian, they'll have two hearts, one on each side of the chest, and they'll have one large liver.
And I thought they
You
were
have to,
like in the armpits area
well, yeah, they're over towards the armpits.
in case you need
You
to.
you you can shoot him. You can shoot him in his heart. He can still keep going at you because he's got another heart. But you stab him in the liver, that brings him on down. He'll crotch over because he's got a lot of nerves in his liver.
Good,
Now
Jimmy.
that part about how it folded up over the spear, that's kind of accurate there. Go ahead.
Oh, question from official net Lex. Did you want to take it alive for study?
No, my uh, for what he had done, for what he has done, and how he attacked Area 51, I knew he was dangerous. I knew he was dangerous. We couldn't take he was so dangerous. He was beyond the study part. See, that
Okay, so
part never that part never happened.
all right, so they kind of gather around the other kids.
The other kids did not gather around. We couldn't find them. They were too scared.
I bet.
They
Okay.
they fled. You have to remember it's dark. They're scared. They're running all different directions. Now back up. Don't We're not ready for that scene yet. Back up. Now back up to where he's on the ground. Not there. There. Now let me say something about that. Because he's a biohazard, we had, after we took the radiation readings, we had to take radiation readings around him. All right, we had to take a flamethrower and burn the field because he is a biohazard. Okay, if any cow would have came up and ate the straw on the ground, then the cow would be infected. Or if a bird took some of the straw off of the ground and made a nest, then the bird could spread a biohazard. So what we did after we uh, collected the body, we put the body in a body bag, plastic body bag, and it was removed for study. All right, we had to decontaminate the field, so we had to burn the field.
Okay, thank you.
Because he crashed into the truck, because you have skin samples and blood on the truck, we had to burn the truck, and I
Okay,
believe
there's
the bus was burned as well, for
okay.
because it was considered a biohazard, and I had to go in quarantine. I had to go in quarantine. All my clothes had to be burned. You don't wash the clothes. My boots, all my clothes had to be burned. I had to go into quarantine for several weeks because I had been exposed to him. Because, see, they carry diseases like leprosy or Ebola.
Oh wow, thank you, Jimmy. Somebody's asking, was this creature made in a lab or its own species? I think the answer to that it's its own species.
We don't know a lot about it. Other than he's probably bred with another species. It's a cross breeding of the species. Now, if he was created in a lab, I don't know that. First, we'd never seen anything like him till 2.5 months earlier when he attacked the precinct. Now
Okay.
that part never happened with the truck, him being on display. We don't do stuff like that. Goes back to the writer wanting to put his spin on things.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't make any sense if through like a military strategic point of view, you wouldn't want to display the biohazard in front of the public.
Well, I've no there's never been there's been stuff leaked out, through the films of the autopsies, but nothing like that.
Okay. So here's our flashback in the future, present day, right? To our farmer
Now,
here.
now, I want to say something. He did he did store that in the barn because he made it to the day he died. He stored that harpoon gun in the barn, but like I
Okay.
said, there was never a creature put in the barn, and but to the day that he died, he I think he did live 23 years later, and nothing happened. But he's just, like I said, an old MIB. He's set in his ways.
Maybe they'll put that in a museum one day when they renovate Area 51 for the public.
Well, the new weapon is got a laser on it. It's not crude like that. That was just thrown together. The MIBs could not wait 17, 18 months for a weapon to be built. Because contractors, they, they usually take a good while to deliver a weapon. We had to have something very quick, and we, like I said, because of all the fishing nets and the old lanterns that was found in the church, we knew that he was, raiding ships out in the Bermuda Triangle. So we just made a harpoon gun and go and take care of him.
Thank you. Wendy, he's answered that question already. It wasn't captured, it was burned on the spot. Okay.
We did not burn the creature. We burned the field because the hay in the field was contaminated. We don't want a cow eating the straw and the cow gets Ebola or leprosy.
So where did the
And
creature go?
the creature was put into a body bag, taken back to Area 51 for an autopsy.
All right. Wow. Thank you for letting us know that. Okay. We got the post puncher 500 here. Close up the harpoon. So basically, how the movie ends, this is supposed to be like the 23rd year, the 23rd day, and the creature it's been stitched together, right? So it's like, oh, it's going to be coming back for the next movie, but as Jimmy said, that was it. Thankfully.
The Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2 are, like I said, uh, they're X file that a screenwriter has gotten a hold of, and I think he made 75 million off the first one, and then what 200 million or 150 million off the second one. You got the figures. Uh, you can pull them up, but uh, like I said, Project Blue Book. There, as far as I know, Project Blue Book never had any movies made out of the X Files when it was shut down in 1969. Mine was made. Everything in mine was made into movies.
Okay, so I have the stats right in front of me. The first movie made 58 million worldwide. The second movie made 119 million worldwide. The third movie made 3 million, and the fourth movie 5 million. So obviously, as you can see,
Well, only 1 and 2 is based off of an X-File. The other movies are fictitious. So he's making it up as he's going along. And like I said, now he's been given the idea, and he's still making money off of the fictitious movies.
very good. Thank you. So what did you learn from the autopsy?
Well, he was he was a lot like the other reptilians that we come across. Now, he did heal quicker. So, you know, he whatever he's bred with, he just healed a lot quicker. Like I said, the the tongue was a little different. The tongue was more like that of a snake, a split tongue. The eyes were more like that of a cat eye, split eyes. The pupils were. The teeth seemed to be more yellow, and if I recalled right, there were double rowed. Then again, after 5 decades, it gets a little bit, I might be a little rusty on that part. He had a very strong rotten smell like rotten fish.
All
And
right,
if
thank you.
you come in contact with any type extraterrestrial, you can bet you're going under quarantine. It doesn't matter if you're MIB, you're going under quarantine, and all your clothes are going to be burned. And
Okay,
and it will never be put on display in a barn like what you saw what this writer did here.
let's let Nikki talk for a while. Nikki? Oh, we can't hear you. I wonder what's up with that. Yeah, why can't we hear? Can the audience hear Nikki? Or Jimmy, can you hear Nikki?
I cannot hear her.
Oh,
Look, put your finger up and get her attention visually, James.
I think she can hear us. But maybe you can reboot, not reboot, refresh your browser and come back in. Try that. Okay, any other questions? Yeah. So we're gonna stay until Nikki comes back for sure. But any other?
Any other questions the audience wants to ask before she gets home? Because when we close this case out, my intention is not to do any more on Jeeper Creepers. So if they have any questions, raise it now if I ever hold it.
Okay. I'm just looking. Yeah, everybody. Oh, let's take that off. Okay, much better. I don't really see any more questions here. Oh wait, maybe I did. Okay. Did it seem to refer a certain race like the Clintons? What? And you actually dated a Clinton, right, Jimmy? Yay.
That's crazy. I had a question. I wanted to know, and I'm sorry for interrupting and all this weird tech issue. Um, Jimmy, what do you think? How would the current MIB would deal with a situation of that magnitude back in 72 versus 2025? How do you think, with the technology that we have now, how do you think that they would deal with that kind of situation? Or with the, for example, back then everything was burned um, due to the leprosy and Ebola. issues, do you think all of it would be dealt differently now?
Well, first of all, we know what we're dealing with now. Back then, we didn't.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Each time you encounter a species, you learn from its traits. All right. We now have a harpoon gun, or shall I say, a very modern Star Wars weapon. We know how it hunts. We know how to bring it down.
Hmm.
Um, I would think that the men in black, that is, if they even still exist, I believe they still exist, but they're more towards the corporate, um, the aerospace companies. I think they're more scattered out. Back then, they weren't that scattered out. They were more concentrated into one area. Um, I just think that if one can do this much damage, wherever it came from, if it ever showed up in great numbers, it could be devastating. It could be very
Yeah,
devastating.
I agree. It could easily wipe out a population.
Well, it goes back, Nikki, disinformation. Right now, these writers that that picks up these X files, they're doing more damage than anything I've ever seen. Because if it takes an hour and a half for 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 a movie, it'll take 2 hours or more just to straighten it out. Had he just left it all alone, I probably could have explained this to James probably in less than 30 minutes. You
Yeah,
know,
but that's not the type of show that I'm doing, Jimmy, and also Nikki. We're showing the public
Yeah,
what was shown in Hollywood, and then we're going to show your version, Jimmy. So yes, we could
yeah.
have done it a lot faster without the visual aids, but I think the show is better with it. Thank you.
Well,
yeah. We need to be able to see the different things that have taken place so that more people understand certain information, especially the way Hollywoodizes movies.
well, this is one time I do agree with James. He's right that he had to show it what
Yeah,
the writer did. So I agree. I agree. I am agreeing with James. All I'm
yeah,
saying is, had it not been for the writer,
yeah.
then it would have been just a simple 30 minutes or so. Me and James could have ran through it. But James did write tonight showing what the writer did,
Oops.
but
Sorry.
but the damage was done by the writer, and that's been with all the other um, X Files that me and James has done. A lot of people think me and James argue amongst ourselves. We're not arguing. I get along well with James. What it is, we argue over what the writer said.
Yeah.
It's over what the writer did, is what we argue over. We don't argue amongst ourselves. We argue what the writer did. So a lot of people keep commenting, that that I'm going after James. I never have gone after James. I've gone after the writer.
Well, also wanted to say that your description. Wow, there's an echo. Sorry.
I think we're going to have
That
to get
your
Jimmy a professional microphone. This isn't going to
Yeah,
do.
that your description, Jimmy, of that being, that entity, whatever it is, I can validate as an ET abductee from my own personal experiences what I have seen and experienced, that yeah, some ETs have 2, 3, or even 4 rows of teeth. And they're not always white. They can be a wide range of colors. Um, I've seen one with an orange tongue. That's why I was asking if it was orange. And you had said it was purple. The fact that it had an odor about it completely jives with everything that I've ever come across, because some of them reek to high heaven and others don't, they barely smell, but yet you get near them, they'll start to smell, but others you can smell a long ways away. So I mean, I can validate all of that from my own personal experiences. And I appreciate what you talked about regarding the different things that you brought up, especially the biohazard type of stuff. I mean, the fact that you guys knew, how did you even determine that it had the possibility for leprosy and Ebola? I mean, was that, I'm assuming that's through the testing, but wouldn't that be afterwards, or was that just from during the process?
Well, first of all, when I had my encounter as a young child back in the 60s, um, back then, if you came in contact with extraterrestrial, there wasn't a law in place. Now, in my case, it was suspected that leprosy and Ebola is to this day they think it. Leprosy and Ebola are foreign, they're alien diseases. Okay, they go out to Africa. These creatures abduct chimpanzees. They let the chimpanzee loose, and then the leprosy follows, or the Ebola follows. All
Yeah,
right.
certain races of ET do that, yes.
Okay. Now, with me, when I was first came in contact, I was put in isolation for about 10 days. And after about the 10th day, that I had a little scratch on my arm that started to heal. I didn't show no fever, and I recovered. But now, if you and they have it now, and it is a federal law. See, on one hand, they say, well, there's no such things as aliens. On the other hand, there's a federal law that says, by the way, you come in contact with extraterrestrial, you have to be quarantined. So the government has contradicted itself. It's saying there's no such thing as aliens, but yet there's a book, there's a law in the books, a federal law that if you come in contact with extraterrestrial, you have to be quarantined. Okay. Now I was quarantined for over 2 weeks after I was struggling with this creature. You don't think I was mad because I had to be quarantined? So I went ahead, I did some stomping on him. I kicked him. I kicked him real good for what he did. Um, what are the other questions you want to know about now?
I
Uh,
don't remember the word the second.
are the MIBs hunting these creatures down?
James, since I've been, you know, set back since Phil Snyder's death, I can't tell you that. What I can tell you is this: if the file was destroyed, if he took the original copies, if the original copies of the files were turned over to well, of course they'd have been blacked out. But if the original files were turned over and and he messed it up with this movie. What happens if there's nothing in the database and the MIBs that are down there now, they run into another one of these creatures. They don't know how to that there's a weapon already developed for it. It could be in a warehouse somewhere that nobody knows where it's at. The government's very large, and there's a lot of turnover at the military bases. We can have weapons in warehouses we don't even know about. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think this is a good point to stop here. I want to thank Jimmy for coming on here and sharing this amazing story about the Jeeper Creeper creature. Thank you, Nikki, for coming on here and giving us some
Yeah.
psychic, intuitive insight on the location of the ship. Right? It's in a mountainous region, probably maybe in the west coast, maybe
Uh,
America.
well, based on what I saw, it it looked like it was a desert type area with some kind of pine trees. And I'm thinking from the looks of it that it looks like a desert type of pine, the kind that I've only ever seen in like um, eastern California through certain parts of Nevada. Um, and it was real specific, so I don't know. It's very interesting, and anytime and that whole area is around Walker Lake, and I know about Walker Lake. That's a whole nother story, but um, yeah, that's that's government right there. So
So it's on government
I
property, probably.
yeah, Walker Lake is, and Walker Lake is not too far from Reno. So
All right, Jimmy. Well, in case any of your MIB friends wants to recover it, right? I know that you've been looking for getting a hold of a craft, but okay.
oh, I'm sure they'd be able to find it with the technology that they have now.
Well, let me just say this now. Um, I never saw a physical craft, if there
Yeah.
were one.
Yeah.
Being that he was hunting in the Bermuda Triangle,
Yeah.
it could very well be at the bottom of an ocean,
Exactly. There's so
and
many places it could be.
it could be hid, and
Yeah.
and 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 you know we can do a lot of speculation about the spacecraft, but then again, he might have just caught a ride with another species here. You know what I mean? He,
Very
he just
possible.
he just
They do that.
he hitchhiked here, but he was definitely using the Bermuda Triangle to hunt. Now,
Yeah.
I want to say this. Now, I went into James's database and I was looking around. I had actually went in there to see how many people were viewing, uh, you know, reviewing our shows that we've been doing, and we've been getting
Mhm.
a lot of views on the internet. And I think what it is, people need, they need a little help, particularly with these UFO reports to break them down. And as far as I know, James and me are the only ones that's ever doing it. I haven't seen anybody else on the internet do this. Not now or in the past. You see people talking about UFOs, but I've never seen anybody breaking down a show like we did. Um, but the reason I brought it up about me going into James' database the other day, I saw an old interview from James he did 2 years ago with Alex Collier. Now I know Alex Collier; he's a good man, and I know about the dramas because I know Morier, who that alien that he talks to. I've had dealings with the dramas, so I know he's telling the truth. But what caught my attention was Alex Collier, at about 5 minutes into the interview, he's telling James that, he's talking about missing children. And in 1972, Alex Collier was in school, and he said that they were making up missing persons posters for kids that was in his school come up missing. And you know what he said in the interview? He said that in Winchester County alone in 1972, 6,000 children came up missing. Now, how does 6,000 children come up missing in one county in 1 year? And he said that the FBI, the CIA, I believe he said NSA, had contacted him, and they were, about the missing people, the abductions and everything. But if you think about it, you know, uh, from Camp Hero, and then you get down, like I said, to Thomasville, Alabama, to the other stage radar station. Because every time we open up, we turn these stage radars on, something would come through. So if your own government would secretly talk to Alex Collier, so they don't want the public to know it, but the government was talking to Alex Collier, wanting to know about the missing children. But 6,000 children coming up missing in 1 year in one county, Winchester County, New York. That tells me that it's serious. And that's just one county. It's happening all over the world.
Where are these children going?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Where are these children going?
They're coming up missing, James. Now, like I said, if you go into your database, if you go, I'm getting to that. If you go into
Sorry.
your data, if you go into your database, he's got 2 interviews in there. Alex Collier has with you, and 5 minutes into the interview, Alex Collier clearly states that 6,000 children in 1972 came up missing in Winchester County. Now, the Winchester County is like right over from Camp Hero, just, the other side of Long Island there.
You mean
And in I,
Westchester?
yeah, Westchester. I said Winchester. Um, See, that's close to the stage radar tower. And we had the New Jersey Devil came through when we fired it up. So if the New Jersey Devil comes through, it's not too far fetched that the Creeper came through Thomasville, Alabama stage radar from that radar. So, like I said, a lot of this is going on, and we keep we don't want to get to the heart of it. That when we open up these portals, these creatures come through.
Okay, well maybe we could do a show with the creature with Jessica Jones.
That would
Well,
be good. She's good.
well, I'm not really sure what Jessica wants to do next. I've got some information on werewolves. We could do a werewolf show, but then again, I thought maybe we might do a show on the Amityville Horror since Butch Defoe was a Montauk boy. You know, um, what would you like to do? What are your interests, James?
Um, we could do more Star Trek.
You know, James, I want to do the Star Trek, but I've had just real ugly stuff said about it, and and it's not anything against you. I just don't think they're ready for it. If I do Star Trek again, I would probably cut the comments off because what we've got, we have about a dozen people that I don't think anybody else would even tolerate them on the web. And you seem to have a dozen people that are just, it doesn't matter what's being said, it's a negative viewpoint. But 99.9% of the people have had a very positive statements. You have thousands of people, thousands of people that have a good positive outlook, but you have about a dozen people that show up to raise all the hell and cuss me out, stuff like that, and they don't know where I'm coming from.
Yeah, haters are always gonna hate, Jimmy, but the cool kids want
Well,
Star Trek.
I think what it is, they try to discredit you, and then when they're can't get can't get you, then they go over to me, and then from there they just zigzag back and forth. Um, People that have mental illness, they have, like they'll come in, they'll be hypersensitive. Uh, you know, they'll try to down talk you, but this is important work that we do. Um, when I talk to you, I'm letting you know what's going on from my side of the fence, and then you let me know what's going on from your side. And we might disagree on things, James, but I can assure you, and I can assure everybody else, me and James, we laugh it off. We talk on the phone together. We just disagree with the writer, is all that we disagree on.
Okay, Jimmy, we need to wrap the show up. It's been a little
Yeah.
too long now, but thank you. Um, okay, I just had to mute that. I was still getting the feedback. Everybody go to supersoldiercon.com, purchase your tickets for this October event, and also go to healingsoulsurvivors.org and make a donation to support my nonprofit. And that the funds will, again, support outreach and programs to help people like you, because all this costs money, software, everything's cost, it's just everything. The bills keep going up, but I think we can all resonate with it. So you could also go to neologicaltech.com. And I want to thank the person who just bought a book yesterday. So I've got a couple more of these in stock. I'm going to get some more. But yeah, guys, get my book, Lone Wolf. It's about the secret space program, super soldiers, some of my own experiences. And yeah, it's 400 pages. You're going to love it. Um, and also, everybody go check out the LifeWave patch. I'm going to post something about the X39. Thank you, everybody who are purchasing those LifeWave patches. They're a great tool. They help bring more frequency into the body. And yeah, Wendy, I don't usually keep my hair up this way. I got to get a haircut, so that's probably okay. Yeah, thank you, Sage, Neological Tech.
Can,
Go
can,
ahead, Jimmy.
can I say just one thing? Uh, Before we close out tonight, I'm not affiliated with James or Healing Soul Survivors. I'm not asking any money from anybody. I won't talk to you if you have a crisis. Um, I'm just making making it known tonight that I am looking for a corporate sponsor. Uh, if anybody wants to ask a question, you can ask James. and but I will not talk to you direct. I will not come to your group and have a talk. I'm strictly am looking for a corporate sponsor, and if anybody wants to get a hold of me, they can just get a hold of James, and James get a hold of me. That's all, James.
All right, thank you all. We'll see you all later, and everybody have a wonderful day wherever you are. Until next time, we'll be back with some more information. Goodbye, everybody. Welcome back, everyone. Today we're diving into something really exciting, the LifeWave X39 patch. To help us understand how this works, we have LifeWave brand partner Arthur Gross here. Thanks for joining us, Arthur.
Thanks for having me, James. I'm excited to talk about this revolutionary technology.
So, I've been hearing a lot about this X39 patch. Can you explain a little bit more on how it works?
Absolutely. The X39 patch is groundbreaking because it uses phototherapy, specifically photobiomodulation, to activate your body's natural GHK copper peptide levels. This, in turn, reactivates your stem cells, which helps reset over 4,000 genes to how they worked when you were younger. Think back to your 20s.
Wow, all that just from wearing an X39 patch.
Exactly. The patch uses a patented, non-invasive nanocrystal technology that reflects specific wavelengths of light from your body's infrared light. When it touches your skin, it stimulates biochemical changes that trigger the production of peptides and amino acids. This increases mitochondrial energy, boosts healthy stem cell activity, and helps with overall cellular repair.
Wow, that sounds incredible. But a lot of people might be wondering how safe they are.
The X39 patch is completely safe. It's been clinically proven and is recognized by the FDA as a general wellness product. Plus, it's non-transdermal and non-invasive, meaning nothing actually enters your body, and there are no chemicals involved.
Wow, so we have no topical creams, injections, or anything like that.
Exactly. It's as easy as wearing a small patch, and it's also waterproof and showerproof, so you can wear it throughout the day without worry.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, I've read a lot about various expensive stem cell therapies. How would the X39 compare to some of these other type of options?
Traditional stem cell therapies can cost thousands of dollars, but the X39 patch offers a much more affordable solution. It's designed to work naturally with your body and is available at a fraction of the cost while still being 96% effective on activating your body's stem cells.
I can see why so many people are excited about this. So, if someone is interested in trying the X39 patch, what can they expect from wearing the patch?
Most people notice an increase in energy, faster recovery from physical activities, and even improvements in overall health and wellness. It really helps to revitalize your body by supporting stem cell production and resetting your genes.
Wow, that sounds amazing. Where can people learn more and try the X39 patch?
If they click the link below the description, it'll take you to James Rink's LifeWave website, which helps you get started. It's such an easy and effective way to tap into your body's natural healing abilities. If you have any questions, please send us an email at liveyounger.jmr@gmail.com.
Wow, thank you, Arthur, for shedding light on this amazing technology. The X39 patch sounds like a must try for anyone looking to feel more youthful and energized.
My pleasure, James. It's definitely worth exploring.
Please consider supporting Super Soldier Talk by purchasing your own Neo Meditation device. Your Neo Meditation device will help you reduce stress, integrate trauma, enhance intuition, enhance clairvoyance, and enhance creativity. Get yours now at www.neologicaltech.com.
Hi.
why do you see places that you've been that fill your life with dreams of someone there, that filled your heart with love? Do the memories fill your thoughts? Did you know that it would change? Was there ever any doubt that a life could rearrange? A traveler in the cosmos, it never seems to end. A life a little longer, you try to comprehend. A shooting star is what you are, but how do you survive? Time after time you play the game, you have to stay alive. For the 20 and back, the 20 and back, 20 and back. So each time you are home again, the more you understand how critical it is to speak, to travel across this land. The conference you create for love, service to others, service to self. If you don't get the word out, then lies will surely fade. There's no one else to help them. Your saber-toothed blade, the work you do essential, the comforts you create.